Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to your show, Coffee with Experts. This is your host, Ranmay here. And today we have Aaron Roach, who is the MD of Zephi Marketing with us. Hey, Aaron, how is it going?
It's going well, my friend's going well. How are you?
All good, all good. Can't really complain. Thank you. Thank you for taking our time to do this with us. Yeah.
Pleasure, pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Lovely. Aaron, before we move any forward, why don't you talk us through your journey? Let's get to know the human behind the mic. How did you land up in this digital marketing IT space and what Zephy is all about? Why don't you throw some more light in terms of what you guys do, what you guys specialize in, how you guys different, and we kick it off from there.
Yeah, sounds fantastic. So as I say, appreciate being here and talking to you today. So as you say, my name is Aaron Roach. I'm the managing director here at Zephi. Zephi is a bit of a unique company. And it's unique because of my background, really. So if I explain a little bit about me first, then I'll go into the company. When I was a young child, I had a lot of interest in IT and stuff like that. And I loved building computers and whatever else. As the years went by and the kind of digital boom was happening, I built my first website in 2000 at the age of 12 or 13 or something like that. I was at the time. And just really got fascinated with technology. Came to leave college and I got a job at a charity. And weirdly, I started to do chartered. I was training to become a chartered accountant, actually, because you never find a poor accountant, do you? I thought that sounds like a good career to go in. So I was trained to become an accountant for 3 years. And during that time, my boss at the place I worked, he approached me and was like, you don't really like what you're doing. Why don't you do some of our website work for us? I was like, yeah, why not? That sounds like fun. So let's do that. So I did that half and half. And then to fast forward a little bit, went through the kind of ranks at this charity. So I became the web developer, left my career in accounts and really just didn't look back really. Became a web developer, became an IT manager, became an IT and marketing manager. And fast forward to 2019, was the global IT and marketing director, overseeing all their marketing and IT operations globally in 18 different nations. And it was a fantastic time. In 2019, I took a voluntary redundancy and started Zephi. And because of my background in both IT and marketing, I opened up Zephi as a bit of a MarTech company. So basically what that means in my world is we've got marketing solutions, which is Zephi Marketing, as you quite rightly said, which does the normal marketing for the websites, SEO, PPC, CRM solutions, automation, all that kind of stuff. But also we have an IT division, and our IT division does the usual MSP stuff, so IT support, network installations, etc. But what I like about that, and what we find as our unique selling point, if you will, is the synergy between the two, right? Because usually our marketing department saying, "Hey, we should have this is a great idea, we should do this," and you get an IT guy and say, "You can't do that," or vice versa. So what we found as an agency or as a company is we come up with some great ideas, some strategy, some consultancy, but then we come up with the technology behind it that can support it and grow it and evolve it. And that's really been where we as a company have differentiated in the market. Let's put it that way. So that's me and Zephi in a nutshell.
Lovely, lovely. And then starting your own agency, it is not an easy decision, right? It does not happen overnight. So that is quite a journey in terms of making that call to start your own agency and then starting it off, right? So what triggered that decision making and how were the initial days? And it's challenging for sure. How did your journey look like initially when you started off Zephi?
Yeah. So as I said, I finished at the charity at the end of 2019, and it was a good leave. They even outsourced part of the job back to me, which was really good news. And then, of course, we come into 2020, and what happens in the start of 2020? COVID hit, and I'm sat there going, "Oh dear Lord, what's gonna happen next?" And obviously, you have the challenges of COVID, you have the challenges of trying to grow a business, and all these kind of fun things. Of course, in the world that we work in the marketing world, what did most people need when COVID happened? They all needed a website. They all needed to be found on Google. They all moved their businesses from a physical position to an online position. So we found steady growth very quickly on by the circumstances surrounding the time that we launched. So very quickly, it went from just me in my bedroom, let's say. I wasn't physically in my bedroom, but just let's say that me and myself to a second person, third person joining, getting offices, and it evolved from there. Now, I'm not saying it was easy, as I'm sure many people watching this will know. COVID had its challenges and continue has a knock-on effect years later. But what it did for us is it did create us some opportunity to help small businesses, to help businesses that had a shop on the high street to go online and all this kind of stuff. And so we did see growth through that. But yeah, it comes with its own challenges and its own set of things that we need to solve out. And even today, so much so far. But it's been a good journey. 5 years later, we're still going. We're going strong. There's 7 of us now. That's how we evolved, really, how we went.
Lovely. And I'm sure it is difficult initially to keep the lights on. I'm glad you see it. And COVID was difficult for most of us. But the one thing was there wherein our industry, especially the digital marketing space, because really evolved after the initial setback. The reason being all these businesses understood the importance of being visible online, right? So that actually created a boom in the later stages, but initially it was difficult. I totally relate to it.
Yeah.
And then,
So I was going to say, just to
yeah,
say, I
sorry.
mean,
Mhm.
you're absolutely right. And you had what we noticed, especially in the area we are. We're based in the Midlands in the UK in Staffordshire. You had
Mhm.
two types of clients. You had the client that panicked and kind of started cutting back on marketing, started cutting back on technology, started going, I need to keep the lights on, and panicking
Mhm.
that. And you had people that were forward thinking. Those that are forward thinking thrived because they looked to go online, they looked to expand their marketing, they looked at new opportunities that they could arise. And you have that two balance really. And I understand those that panicked because ultimately, yes, you've got to keep the lights on, you've got to pay the staff, you've got to pay the bills. But the ones that were that kind of forward plans or forward thought, let's say, they're the ones that you would see success today because of the choices they made back then.
Absolutely, absolutely. Can't agree more. And then you have worked in the nonprofit sector, which has its own learnings and experiences, right? How has it shaped your approach to marketing, just not just for nonprofit, but also for profit? It would have its ripple effect as well. So how was it?
Yeah, so non-profit and profit marketing, you get different marketeers probably disagreeing or agreeing on these circumstances, but I think they're very similar. The way you market to a non-profit in a non-profit world to a profit world is very similar. The same principles exist, right?
Yeah.
So in the non-profit world, we were attracting or trying to attract donors, people that would donate to the charity. We were trying to attract partners or reoccurring donations that people would reoccur their partnership every month to the charity. We had products and we had colleges associated to the charity. So there's many different things we had to market. We had to market events. We had to market whatever. And we implemented a very simple strategy or a very simple process that was basically the lifeline behind my marketing operations. And that was very simply this strategy of awareness, response, and relationship. So the way we executed that is awareness is everything you do, right? So that's your website, we're on TV, you're getting adverts out there, you're on PPC, SEO, all this kind of stuff. You're doing all these things in your awareness section to ultimately generate a response. And a response is basically people reacting to that awareness. So that may be someone donating, it might be someone contacting you, it might be someone calling you, it might be someone messaging you on social media, whatever that be. And that response ultimately is pointless in many respects unless you build the third pillar, which is relationship. And relationship then they become a monthly donor to you. They become a person that buys your product every time you release a new book or whatever. They're a person that enrolls onto your courses and then does the courses. And then after doing the courses, they then tell people about your courses, which obviously creates the best marketing thing in the world, which is word of mouth. Word of mouth rules a lot of marketing. That was my principle in our non-profit world, and I brought that into the profit world. And what I mean by that is, I think for any business, you could take any scale business, right, down to your one-man band plumber to your multinational, right. Ultimately, you have to do the three same steps. You have to make people aware of what you offer. And that, once again, is done through your website. It's done through getting people to your website through SEO. It's done through social media. It's done through getting an advert on the bus if you need be, right? There's many different things you can do in that awareness field. But there's no point doing any of that unless you're going to start generating that response. People asking for a quote, people buying your product, whatever that be. And what you ideally want is that relationship with your end clients, where basically, let's say, for example, you're a plumber and you spend all this money to get your services out there. You get one person that says, yeah, you can unblock my drains. What you want is then every time they've got a blocked drain, they always call you, right? So that's your relationship. And ultimately, the relationship generates that, once again, that kind of returning customer. And ultimately, it doesn't matter if it's profit or non-profit, that same principle exists. And even today, when we strategize with our clients, that's the kind of same basis we use. We may term it to give different terminology with it or whatever, but the same principles exist. I think that for me, that's fundamental marketing. So irrespective to non-profit, profit, corporate, or one-man band, that same principle can be rolled out very quickly.
Absolutely. I mean, more or less kind of the crux of it remains the same, right? You need to get them in front of your consumer's eyes, right? The theory kind of remains the same there. And you also did touch upon a very important topic, marketing automation. And then obviously your organization, your agency is involved into CRM automations, and which is quite a crucial part when you talk about marketing as well, in terms of as basic as the leads flowing in to kind of showing it up on your CRM, and the entire sales journey or marketing journey being captured, the entire funnel for that matter. Talk us through in terms of how important it is and what are the best practices there.
Yeah. So once again, I think automation, especially now we're in this AI generation world, and AI and automation become hand in hand. I think it's becoming more and more essential to any company, any agency, anything really, is to how to automate your marketing flow, your sales pipeline, the whole thing. So as you and Klein, we work a lot with different customers. Once again, let's go back to profit, non-profit, right? We work with profit customers and non-profit customers on systems that help you manage that process. And as I say, so that would involve things like bringing in that initial sales inquiry, making sure that is a followed up inquiry. And that can either be automated email or text or whatever, and maybe, or even an automated task to tell someone to phone that person. And then once they phone that person, or or an email's been sent or whatever, what is the next action in your pipeline? And if you can build an automation to help you manage that process and bring you across the funnel, the success we're seeing with our clients and also us internally is you see a better lead generation, a better kind of conversion rate, and also a more tailored approach to your clients. As I said, with Zephi, we're very unique. We have a load of different services. We also have two other divisions I've not spoken about, fire and security and consultancy. We've got 4 different pipelines there with targeting 4 different clients for very different reasons. But we want to cross-pollinate. And you can use automation to do that. You can say, okay, they inquired about this. Have they thought about this and this? It's the whole idea of cross-selling, upselling, that kind of same thing. And if you can build, and as I say, get the right tool to help you build the kind of automation process for that, it will make your customer journey with you much more seamless. It will also help with attracting clients to different services. It will also help with obviously ensuring that the client is having a good experience with you as a company. And I think for me, when we look at marketing, we spend a lot of money, all of us do, on all these awareness things. Once again, SEO, as we're very passionate about SEO, we work with our clients with SEO, and so do yourselves. And we have clients that spend a lot of money on our SEO. So that means that they want to get a return, they want that response. But then if they've got a response and they don't have an automation system to help them manage it to a relationship and keep that relationship going, they're still spending a lot of money on SEO. Because they're just trying to just feed that funnel all the time and just dropping clients off in the end. And I think that's where automation and marketing automation and CRM systems really help you capture customers and keep them on a journey with you. And once again, there's so many examples I can give you. If once again, let's go back to the non-profit sector for a second. Once again, the most nonprofits will spend a lot of money making people aware of their charities. You look at the TV adverts that WaterAid run, for example, or whatever else, that they cost thousands upon thousands of pounds. And you want obviously those donors, but you want those donors to stay with you. And what you need to do in that world is have an automated system to keep informing the donors on what their money's doing, what the success is happening, what the stories, the testimonies that are coming out of the money that you've funded. Because ultimately that generates them to go, I want to keep supporting this organization. And it's much cheaper and more efficient to keep people at that stage than to try and find new donors over here. And for me, that's why I think the benefits of automation and now AI coming into it, when AI can generate so much content, so much strategy with you, I think it becomes more and more essential to a business today to have an automation process and a system to help them do that.
Absolutely. In a nutshell, it increases your operational efficiency. Right? We have had interactions with business owners wherein we can see the numbers going up in terms of the phones ringing and all of that, but then leads getting dropped off. So at the back end of it, if you're not operationally efficient, now what we suggest is if you do not really have a process in place, we should get that piece sorted first before we go out and market for the blue ocean out there. If the consumers are not talking good about you, no marketing is better than word of mouth, as we say, right? So that is how it is.
You're absolutely right. A lot of companies will go out there and spend all this money on awareness kind of strategies, as I say, SEO, PPC, social, all this kind of stuff. But then they may get a quick sale or something, but there's so much more value in a client. And also, as an agency, you want to offer your client more value. So if we can offer them multiple services or multiple opportunities with the agency, then we're helping them save money in other aspects. And I think for me, marketing automation systems pay for themselves very quickly when they don't let leads keep dropping off the back end of their funnel. And I think that's one of the benefits now of the kind of world we live in. I think we're a much more automated world, and we need to, as a company owner, as an agency, and any client out there needs to have a solution to ensure that they're not missing out on sales or leads or opportunities.
Absolutely. In fact, after the leads, the capture, what stage the lead is in, because you understand at the end of the day, your client makes money, you do, right? If they grow, you grow. It goes hand in hand, right? After the lead comes in, what stage is it, how the conversions are happening. So it's quite essential. We have had a lot of interactions with business owners wherein we found out the loopholes, and it's majorly most of times being resonating with the fact that they do not have a really strong back-end operational either format, strategy, whatever we want to call it.
Yeah, and I think it comes hand in hand with the first thing you need to do as a company. I'm sure most people are aware, is you need to have that strategy. What is our sales strategy? What is our marketing strategy? And how does that go hand in hand? And then the system to automate that should come as a resource to that strategy. And I think if people can get that part right and can automate it to the point where it's helping them maintain their prospects, their clients, or whatever, but also on top of that, it manages mundane jobs, let's call them that. Things like the automated follow-up email or reminders, tasks, things like that. Absolutely correct. If that can do that, then it takes away administration time, administration staff costs, all this kind of other stuff on top of it, really, which start to add up in their own little right.
Lovely. So Aaron, I know, looking back at your career, you have been on both sides, right? You did work in a corporate setup, and then now you're an entrepreneur, right? With your agency setup. So what is one key lesson you've learned that has been most valuable, which is something you want to hold for your life?
It's probably not the best key lesson, but let's go with it, right? My previous boss, my first boss when I was 18 and challenged me into kind of moving careers and all this kind of stuff, he always said this phrase, and it was fake it till you make it. And you know what? I stick by that. I think a lot of people, a lot of agency owners, a lot of entrepreneurs, we all try and go for perfection from day one. And we all try and strive for perfection. I think my biggest thing is I'm not perfect. I will make mistakes. I will screw up, but I'll have to fake it until I make it. But I will try and keep persevering and making it, and making the best for myself, for the company, for the client, and for potential clients going forward. And I think for me, that kind of phrase has always been stuck in my head. So we will say as a team so many times, we're like, oh, we feel a bit out of our depth with this, or this is a bit unique, or a bit of a challenge, or we've got a learning curve around here. I'm always like, let's fake it till we make it, and let's make it happen, and let's educate ourselves, let's put some things in process, and let's then make it. So that's for me probably is my biggest kind of thing that sticks in my head the most.
Lovely. And we all do commit mistakes, right? It is about owning it up and then fixing it as well, right? So that is what matters.
And we're all on a learning journey. I think for me, as I say, in my journey, I've come a long way since leaving school in 2005 to today in 2024. It's a long journey, but I've got a long way to go yet. And I think we're all learning. We're all technology changing, marketing's changing, and I think acknowledging that and going, okay, we need to carry on and keep learning and progressing as a company, as an individual, as a company, and with our clients.
Lovely. Great, Aaron. This has been a lovely conversation. But before we let you go, a quick rapid fire.
Go for it.
All right. What did you do with your first paycheck, Aaron?
What did I do with my first paycheck?
Of your life.
What did I do? I brought a laptop.
All right. Your last Google search.
Gosh, I could probably look. I think it was for you. It's one of your systems. So I
get to hear that quite often. Yeah.
I was going to say Rank Watch. That was the last one I did. So that's right.
All right. Then when Rank Watch is in a bit of sync, right? So I can totally relate to that. Great. The thing that you do not really like about your job or what you're doing.
That's really difficult because I love my job. I love what I do. I'm so passionate.
We all do it.
Yeah.
Give us that one thing. Yeah. Give us that one thing.
One thing, probably the financial part of it, having to balance the checks at the end of the month, that kind of thing. That's probably the biggest part, pain. That's part of business. But yes, that's probably the only thing I absolutely hate. But I love my job. So
lovely. We all do. Great. Your celebrity crush.
Oh gosh, the missus might kill me. I always had a bit of a thing for Melissa Joan Hart, Nickelodeon, Sabrina. That was always my thing. But my girlfriend probably kill me now for saying that. So cheers for that.
All right, we got you there. We're not going to stretch this any further. Motive stuff. Perfect. Great, Aaron. Thank you so much once again for doing this. Really appreciate it, man. It was a lovely conversation.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.